you're a guy who's shown some ability to shoot from the perimeter. The Sixers have a couple of a pretty deep center rotation. How much do you focus on trying to make sure you expand that jump shot? How much has Nick Nurse experimented, or at least in the runs that you've had, talked about maybe playing two big lineups? Like, how is that impacting what you think?
He's talked about it some. He's talked about it a lot, actually. But my concern isn't necessarily expanding my game. It's just being as reliable as possible. You know, when you're playing behind the MVP, you know, there's a certain job you got to go out there and do, and I understand that. And you know, my thing is do whatever it takes to lead this team to win.
You probably have, of the guys who are front court guys, the most experience playing in those two big lineups with Carter Jr. and some other guys in Orlando. I guess, what do you think is the key to making this work, other than make shots?
Yeah. I think you hit it off pretty good. Obviously, like having the offense flow naturally and hitting shots is a big component of it. But at the same time, I think one thing that gets overlooked is how it works defensively. Being able to do different things defensively when your number is called, and keeping an open mind to how things will flow.
There are a lot of players who are on 1-year contracts, who maybe have something to prove. You certainly are one of them. What do you think that you want to set out to show? I can do this, or this is who I am, or to reestablish yourself as a force in the league.
My thing isn't necessarily prove myself or show this or show that. I think oftentimes when players go into a year thinking like, I need to reinvent myself, or I need to prove this or prove that, it doesn't go as well as planned. I think one thing that will help a player in that situation is to step outside of themselves and realize the best thing for me right now is to be on a team that wins and to contribute to that team that's winning.
Is that tough to balance though? Like, I feel like on a team that's expected to win like the Sixers are, it might be a little easier to get get into outside of yourself a little bit. Like, is that tough to balance?
I think it's tough to balance when you don't necessarily know the lay of the land of the league. I think me being 5 years in, or going into my year 6, you understand what things are about and how things go.
Is Joel as big a trash talker in workouts as he is during games? Because I know you guys have spent lots of time together over the years.
For sure. Me and Joe's built that camaraderie where it's like he's always trying to one-up each other. But it's a healthy relationship because, that's the guy who's coming off an MVP year. And if I'm trying to one-up an MVP, then it only leads to great things.
We all silly like the mayor.